Hello, this is Eleanor and Evelyn here to talk about how the Civil War was influenced by the Declaration of Independence. First of all, some background information about the Civil War. The Civil War lasted 4 years, from 1861 to 1865. The war was triggered by Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were made because of the Civil War. The Civil War was one of America's bloodiest battles. The casualties were an estimated 1.5 million people. There were around 490,000 casualties on the Union side, and the Confederates had 596,000 casualties. The outcome was 4 million slaves freed. The Union. Their goal was to keep America united and abolish slavery. They were led by Abraham Lincoln. They had 18.5 million people on their side, with roughly 1.5 million of them serving in the Army. They believed in preserving the United States as one nation under the federal government, upholding constitutional law, and promoting liberty and economic opportunity. They promoted free labor, which meant all races were working for money. The states in the Union were Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Wisconsin, and the border states Delaware, Kentucky, Maryland, and Missouri.
The Confederacy, led by Jefferson Davis. There was 9 million people, with them 3.5 million being slaves. They used slaves for farm/plantation work. Most of their money came from slaves. They believed slavery was a good thing. They had 11 slave states. They wanted to establish a sovereign nation and tried to separate from the United States. The states that were with them were South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Key parts of the Declaration of Independence used in the Civil War. All men are created equal, unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive or unalienable rights, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and try to institute a new government. Right to revolution.
How the Union used the Declaration of Independence against the Confederates. The Union viewed the Declaration of Independence as a promise of equality growing over time. They framed the war as a fight for the justice of people from all backgrounds. They used the Declaration against the Confederates by emphasizing the fact of universal equality. The Union also pointed out that the Declaration of Independence was not only used to secede from Britain, but to create a unified nation for decades and centuries to come.
How the Confederates used the Declaration of Independence against the Union. They used the Declaration of Independence to try to mirror what the United States did when they seceded from Great Britain. They wanted to secede because they wanted to keep slavery and their way of life. They used the part of the Declaration that says all people have unalienable rights, including the right to liberty. They believed that the government was obstructing their rights, so they attempted to separate from America. My first question that I have was the Civil War inevitable?
I think in the times and the years leading up to it, yes, just based off of the direction the country is going and how at the time the states were, as new states were forming, they were coming in as free state or slave state. So I would, yes, based off the history leading up to it and just the direction our country was going and how we never really addressed that situation with slavery and some of the different issues that came from the Civil War, I would absolutely say that just based off the 40, 50 plus years, or really since the beginning of our nation, that history was just leading us to that point at some, I mean, could someone have cooler heads prevailed earlier? But possibly, but just, yeah, I don't think we could have avoided it based just off how the history leading up to the war happened.
How do you think the Civil War has changed U.S. history?
It has changed U.S. history in, I think, to be honest, more ways positive than negative. Was it the right way to get it? No, I don't necessarily, but for the rights and the things that we did as a nation, it I think ultimately made us stronger on the other side. Now it took years later to get there, but that being said, it was the first true test of this country as if we can be a real country or not.
These are our sources.